Yeah, these two, like, totally deserve it. Whatever they're gonna get. One, fuck them for bombing the Earth, right? But also, they're so fucking slow to act. And, like, don't understand the thing literally in front of them. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we're back with another episode of Space Battleship Yamato. We just got done defeating the Gamlis base on Pluto, although the Pluto fleet has run off, so essentially we could still be in danger of getting into another combat with them. Here's my worry. My worry is that we are on the precipice of actually doing something not within our own solar system, right? That we could be using the wave motion drive to go into interstellar space and actually starting to make the trip to Iskander. The worry then is that the Pluto fleet that's supposed to stop us is going to waylay us, and we are just going to stay in the fight still for one more episode or more, which I know can be more interesting stuff to do in the show, but for the current time frame that we're in, not the time frame, well, technically the time frame of time until death of humanity, but within the scope of things, I just want to see what's out there. I just want to see what's out there. So if we could just stop getting into fights with the enemy that we already know is in front of us, like the show is like, what, 40 episodes, something like that? I just want to get out there. Anyway, that's why it's my fear. Before that, though, we do have a board, so let's go ahead and see what's up with the board. It's a very short changelog because we haven't added anybody new. I mean, we could technically meet members of the crew we haven't met before, but at the moment, we've only met two new members of the crew, which is Kazuhiko Sugiyama and Akira Nemeto, which we then marked as dead because they were introduced last episode and then they both died. Essentially, well, one of them died to a trap. The other one got shot to death. So they were essentially our red shirts. Now that I think about it, they were wearing white shirts, but they had the accents of red. So technically, here's the thing I was about to say. To my previous conversation, Space Battleship Yamato came out before Battlestar Galactica. Technically, Star Trek was out before Space Battleship Yamato, so they could have been copying the red shirt thing. Who knows? Anyway, those are really the only changes on the board at the moment, but I do have notes. Not a lot, but I do have some. Everything in this episode really counts on the repair work taking 8 hours. Except that across the episode, the Yamato takes more and more damage, which you'd think would cause the time of repair to go up as well. And yet, it doesn't. Just an oddity, especially because the air generator was damaged after Sanada gave the estimate and after he left the ship. So, those two things just don't exactly align. The sensor systems of this show raise the same questions I brought up in Voltace 5, when Zool kept looking at direct views of things from his panel. In this case, Pluto Base can just see the Yamato directly underwater, and the Yamato can just see the reflective beam satellites from underwater. Not just that, but the camera angle of the screen would imply that the Yamato is seeing the satellite from above. It's always just a little odd, I feel. I understand it's just like animation things, right? But I don't know. I just think a modern show would obviously do it better. Everyone keeps telling me that the next version of the show is better than this one. I will encounter it when I see it, but I'm just bringing up what I see in the now. I guess, at the very least, this answers the question I had about why they didn't just fire the beam repeatedly at where the Yamato was. It can't penetrate water. Except, of course, that it penetrates water to fire in the first place. This Pluto arc is throwing me through so many loops. Let's just analyze the tactics going on halfway through the episode. First, the Yamato has no compunction against using nukes. That's wild. Second, Schultz has the great idea to bomb them till they surface. In what world? Safer underwater, that's for sure, but even if you fail to make them surface and hit them with some of those bombs, they'll sink and stay on the bottom. Just say, bomb them, and not look like such an idiot. I have to agree with Dessler, at least initially. It makes no sense that the fleet should have retreated. They've taken on the entire Earth defense fleet and been victorious so far. They drove Yamato in the direction they wanted, so clearly they are a credible threat to the ship. They should have launched and attacked. Dessler saying he wanted to inhabit the Earth seems a bit odd. Do the Gamlins thrive in high radiation? That would at least give a reason to their bombardment other than to just kill the humans, if it was additionally also their form of terraforming as well. That was actually my last note. I do, of course, add to the timeline the fact that we ended the episode at 354 days left, meaning that the episode ended on the 19th, though I think I brought that up in the translator's notes, because the translators also mentioned that the bombing of Earth started in, 2190? Just double check my thing. Yeah, 2190. And that the bombing ended on October 19th. So, confirming my timeline of events. Just indicating that all they're doing is confirming I'm right. I don't need them. If they just disappear somewhere in the future of the episodes, I would still be right. I mean, I'm not super proud of being able to count, but, just saying, my numbers have been right. That said, though, let's go ahead and hop on in, and hopefully we hit interstellar space.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Revolving defense. Asteroid belt. So, hope, fear. The hope is that we're going to go to a different solar system. And in that different solar system, they will also have an asteroid belt. And in that other asteroid belt, we are going to encounter some sort of revolving defense. 2, the fear. The fear is that we're going to turn around and go back into our own solar system again for some reason and have a fight in the asteroid belt. The opposite direction that I hope we're going to go. But then again, could be that whole thing that I said about the Gamulus Pluto fleet. We're going to get into a fight with them, and then we end up turning around, running away from them, and using the asteroid belt as some sort of defense. I also now recognize there's a third option at play. When I'm talking and we're not looking at the board and all this stuff, and we're not reacting to the show yet, I have often put up some sort of animation, because I couldn't find many animations of Yamato back in the day, which has a ring around the ship. And I'm now recognizing that might be some sort of asteroid defense, which the episode's named after. Remember that the reflective beam was said to be stronger than the wave motion gun, and the Yamato took like 3 shots from it. Which is what I'm thinking this episode's going to be about. Guess I was right then. Although again, the wave motion gun can just take out the entire fleet, and there's no planet to be worried about. I mean, to be fair, if history has taught you anything, your ships are better than theirs. He said now for the fact that the fighter craft of the Yamato can destroy your capital ships. I at least appreciate that damage during one episode carries over to the next. I mean, not the greatest position to be in if the combat starts happening. It's great to have replaceable parts, especially when they don't damage the inside of the ship. I mean, unless the idea is to replace the outside and then repair the inside from the inside. Are they doing the single file line thing? Tusken raidering their way towards the Yamato? That would be a horrible decision, by the way, if they did wave motion gun and took out the entire fleet in one shot. How did we go from Pluto to the asteroid belt if we were leaving the system? Like, maybe they should have said the Oort cloud or something. At least that would still be debris. It's like every time in the Iron-Blooded Orphans video game, where they're in like Venus in orbit and having a fight, and suddenly the asteroid belt is there. I can already see somebody drawing a diagram of the journey of the Yamato, where it goes one way and it travels the other solar system going that way, and it goes to Pluto in that direction, and they go back to the asteroid belt. You can really tell when they're pulling cells in one direction and the other. When the stars start moving backwards and you're still heading forwards and... My problem is that once you see it, you can't unsee it. Every little speck of dust now becomes a cell that's moving.
消滅しました。何？我々に気づいて妨害電波を出してきたのかもしれんな。ガンズ、ビデオパネル作動。対物レーダーに切り替えろ。
I mean, for all you know, they jumped to,
これはなんだガンズ。
wave space? Warp, they call it warp. They jumped to warp.
くそ。
あ、ダメだ。敵レーダー追跡不可能になりました。
敵の死角に入った証拠だ。よし、修理を急げ。
You can keep saying hurry all you want.
カナダ産ヤマト農園で採れたフレッシュトマトジュース。何を作っているのですか？
Yep, that great orange tomato
とっておき
juice.
のアイデアだ。これを館長に提案するつもりだ。
あ、待ってください。
アステロイドシップ計画か。どうでしょうか。よし、実行にかかろう。
は、ありがとうございます。
Are they gonna coat the outside of the Yamato in Asteroid? I mean, it'd be added armor, I guess, right? Would really screw up the main guns, though.
すべての報告はこの地点でヤマトは消えたと言っております。まさかワープしたのではないだろうな。
Oh, there we go. At least he acknowledges the idea.
ヤマトめ、一体どこへ逃げたんだ。
How about you send out some fighter craft so they can scout?
ご報告いたします。何事だ、ガンツ。は、ヤマトの姿を見失いました。ワープの形跡はないでしょうか。見失ったんだ。バカ。ワープの形跡など全くないわ。
Oh, the bloodshot eyes.
受けておるのだ。イス、何をわめき立てておるのだ。ですよ、そうだ。シュルツに伝えてやれ。親衛隊を派遣しようかとな。
I'm guessing it's more of a threat than backup.
ということは知り、まさか我々を。探せ。絶対にヤマトを探し出すんだ。星の人神楽も見逃すな。
At this point, if you think you're better at the job than Schultz, I feel like you gotta take Schultz out and take control of the operation yourself.
はい。古代反重力艦能機の発射準備をしろ。了解。
発射準備完了しました。
よし、発射角上下40。発射。
発射。
So, how is this helping the stealth mission, the stealth aspect of this? Because remember, they went to video radar. They're actively watching the area, and you're firing fireworks. I guess also thank God they use radar too, and not like anything else.
よし、もういいだろう。修理班配置につけ、これよりヤマトに岩盤を装着する。装着完了と同時に作業再開せよ。岩盤装着。
岩盤装着。
Again, I'm just thinking of that GIF that I have of it being circling, like a bunch of rocks circling the Yamato. I thought it was fine GIF to use because I have no context for it. Certainly didn't back in episode 1. How much resources do you waste on all the anti-grav units that you fired out to make this happen? Like I said, though, really messes with the main guns. The anti-air guns, too. Although I guess technically you can still see one of the main guns platforms there at the top. It would have to mess up the anti-aircraft guns. And that was your designated one commercial.
看板装着完了。よし、真田君、修理作業を再開しよう。
I say, gotta hope that the place you have to repair isn't the place where the rocks are.
ああ、これいい気分じゃい。男に生まれた以上、こういう大宇宙で酒を飲むのもええわじゃな、こら。ああ、めんどくさいが、この際致し方ないな。
Legitimately, I don't think the show has any understanding of space.
先生、気をつけてください。やかましいぞ、アナライザー。貴様には風流なんて気分がわからんのじゃい。やれやれ。
That,
ヤマト発見。
or,
発見。
follow me on this one, what if all the OG show is actually a dream from the moment the Doctor went into the sleep chamber? And assuming that he goes into the sleep chamber in the remake,
確かに見えたのですが。
that's actual reality.
ヤマト発見。
And hopefully they get the science right in the next version of the show.
それがしっかり位置を確認しろ。 ガンズ何をしている。ヤマトではないか。はい。
Yeah, these two, like, totally deserve it. Whatever they're gonna get. One, fuck them for bombing the Earth, right? But also, they're so fucking slow to act. And, like, don't understand the thing literally in front of them.
ヤマトにとうとう見つけたぞ。これから何をするか教えてやる。 静かだな、古代。
うん。修理の進行状況はどうなってるんだ？
はい、3番砲塔のあたりが手間取っているようです。
So they're taking longer than they thought before, and now they're taking longer than they thought again. Legit, what was the straw for?
まったくだ。ほっとするよ。みんな疲れているんだな。
Thank you. Someone's gotta use these straws.
古代、あれは
ガミラス艦隊だ。
入れ。
艦長、ガミラスの艦隊が接近してきます。
知っておる。
一体どうするんですか？
慌てるな、古代。警戒態勢を敷いて修理作業を続行するんだ。アステロイドシップ計画は防御の作戦としてもかなり有効なようだ。
Yeah, but let's just assume everybody has nukes. Your bridge is still coming up outside the asteroid. And he's leaving his goddamn footprints all over the window.
まもなく敵のレーザー砲の射程距離内に入ります。よし、総員配置につけ。ヤマトめ、なんという無様な格好をしているのだ。手術しれ、奴は反射衛星砲で受けた傷がまだ癒えていないものと思われます。それであのような。
Again, the damage that destroyed a continent and hurt like a panel on the side of the Yamato.
応戦できないなんて。
I would have to think that Gameless has nukes of their own.
後方にも敵艦です。やむをえん工作班を撤収させろ。真田君、岩盤はどのぐらい持ちそうかね。このまま集中攻撃を受けていては崩されてしまいます。よし、岩盤を回転させよう。はい。古代
Namesake of the episode.
伝達。反重力感能機作動開始。作動開始。岩盤回転。
岩盤回転。
I just thank God the Gameless fleet stops firing while this is happening. There we go. It's literally the thing I've been using on every video.
これを耐えるなら我々に残されている道は栄光か死か二つに一つしかないのだ。撃て。戦艦撃って撃って撃ちまくれ。
I mean, to be fair, you got more options than glory or death. There's a lot of space between those two things. So maybe start aiming above or below the circle. You know, the area the ship is in.
これで成功か。なんだかじれってな。
古代、守りも完璧である必要があるんだぜ。考えてみれば、これがヤマトの本来の姿。
There you go. That makes more sense.
このままでは戦況が進みません。なんとかしなければ。くそ。やむをえん。そう。こうなったら最後の手段に訴えるしかない。ガンツを体当たりするのだ。
Fucking stupid. Literally surrounded on all sides, so the shield thing doesn't hit from every angle.
修理が完了すれば、あの波動砲が物を言う。勝負はこの時しかない。どうせ二度とガミダスへ戻れないのだ。死をかけても栄光を手にするのだ。
I don't disagree with the motivation. I disagree with the fucking command.
諦めろ。
Literally, the shield goes this way, the shield goes this way.
お供いたします。
Have somebody here, have somebody here, have somebody here, have somebody here. The shield can't defend every direction.
最後の決着をつけるのだ。
And not a single ship's commander says, this is pretty dumb.
これよりヤマトへの体当たりを敢行する。それ以外に活路はないのだ。諸君の未来に栄光あれ。冥王星前線基地の勇士たちを覚えておきたまえ。我らの前に勇士なく、我らの後に勇士なしだ。
That's a pretty good speech. I mean, it's a dumb speech, but it's a pretty good one.
さあ行くぞ。戦艦突撃開始。
If they're meant to imply that the asteroid shield thing is like going 360 around the ship, it's not well shown.
敵が接近してきま
And it
す。
certainly does not
何をするつもりなんだ。
engender this reaction from Schultz.
からも来ます。
盤回転解除。島、船を身軽にして奴らの突っ込みをかわせ。はい。
Where was the other ship going? They're all legit aimed at the Yamato, so why are the other ships coming in sideways?
ダメだ。よくやるな。レスラー相当万歳。古代、ロケットアンカー発射。奴の横っ腹に撃ち込むんだ。
はい。ロケットアンカー発射。
Well, so much for so little. I guess thank God we kept the... Oh, never mind. The rocket anchors come into play before. Pretty good. Never mind.
Yamato の修理は間もなく完了した。ヤマトのアステロイドシップ計画は29万6000光年の旅の航行に一つの目処を与えた。地球絶滅の時を刻々と迎えている人類を救えるのは宇宙戦艦ヤマト。その愛と知恵と勇気しかない。急げヤマト。
Or, you know, the people of Iskander. That's a pretty huge jump in time. We were still in the 50s. Now we're in the 30s. I mean, I just have to... I'm waiting for the translator's notes to pop up if I have any additional thoughts. Which, this... Okay. Launches the anti-gravity inducers, the secondary turret, but the barrels open wide horizontally. Mecha illiteracy. Pretty funny. Come on. I'm going to evade Schultz's kamikaze attack with the rocket anchor. The anchor was launched from starboard, but the broken chain was attached to the port. This is also not the animator's mistake, but also the director was to blame for overlooking it. Those episodes done by studio mates don't credit the chief animator, but Mr. Kendo took charge of it. Alright. Yamato also took about 16 days to advance from Pluto to the asteroid, but including the time for combat and repair. That's what I was indicating before. It's a pretty big time jump. At the same time, I'm surprised the animators don't comment about the fact that they talked about the need to get to Iskander, but still went from Pluto back to the asteroid belt. You know, essentially a planet away back from Earth. Almost right back to where we started. Like the last 7 episodes, imagine if Pluto Base didn't exist, the last 7 episodes were unnecessary. Oh well, like you said, Schultz there at the end, I appreciate the spirit of what he was doing. Again, not because of him. The gameless people are fucking assholes. Just trying to look at them from the outside perspective, say I wasn't an Earthling, right? I understand what he was doing, but it was pointless and unnecessary. Literally just surround the ship and fire from all directions. We saw them loading up missiles, which they didn't use. What happened to the fighter craft, right? They didn't use those either. It was all pointless. And I guess that is the worst fate of all, right? Being pointless. But hey, at the very least, unless for some goddamn reason we turn around and go back to Earth, this should be the last thing in the solar system, and we should finally head off towards interstellar space and Iskander and all of that. So, here's hoping that next episode we finally achieve that. Like I said, it was my fear at the start of the episode, and I'm hoping we're gonna get further along. That said, I don't think I have any other thoughts regarding this one. So, I've been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?